Hi everyone, welcome back to another training video with CrowdComms. Today we're going to be going through the badge designer section. As you can see on the left hand side, I'm in the kiosk area of the CMS, and as you load the page you will be faced with a couple of different options. So we've got the standard badge, which is the paper badge which can be folded or stuck together and hung around a lanyard, and the other one is a credit card sized badge which prints out on a plastic card. The designer is exactly the same in both, so we're going to jump straight into the standard badge template for today. You'll see your starting points are a series of presets. So it's not to say that you can't start with a standard badge and add on attributes or change the orientation of your delegate strip, put a background image or a profile picture. These are just starting points to get you to your final badge in a bit less time. So let's jump in and we'll start with the rear attributes badge. This is a double-sided badge with the attributes already loaded on the back. So on your left hand side you will see a few different options. At the top here you've got your stock size, so you can change these if you know that the size of your badge is going to be US badge stock or Australian badge stock. These are roughly the same size. Some have got different safe areas than others. We're going to stick to the eco badge for today. Mirroring is pretty much what it says on the tin. So if you mirror the front, this will print the same on the front and the back. It will also give you the same design controls for the front and the back, so you don't have to do everything twice. If you want a different back, which is how this badge is set up at the moment, you just turn off mirroring and you've got a blank canvas at the back with your front controls here with your badge items, and then you've got your back header, backgrounds, badge items and footers at the back here, which you can see I've got my attributes and my delegate strip. So we'll jump into those in a little bit more detail in a sec. So let's start with the headers. You can add new items to all of these if you want different headers for different groups, but let's have a look at the controls you've got in each section. You've got a label, which is really for your admin, so you can just name these whatever you want. These aren't going to be printed out, the label. You've got applicable groups, and you'll see this throughout pretty much everything that we've got. You can tailor each item to be specific for a group. So if you wanted a header to print out just for your exhibitors, if you had a different design, you just add the group there, change your settings, change your colors, add a different logo if you wanted to, and then you've got different controls over the size and height, and then that would be specific for that group that you've assigned it to. I'm going to leave that off for now. We've got background color control. So within here, you've got a palette of different colors with different shades within that tone. You can do the hex value if you know the specific color that you're looking for, or you can click this drop down arrow and have the complete spectrum of colors to choose from using this slider to choose exactly which tone I want, and then you drag the circle into the area I want. This control at the bottom here controls the opacity. So if you had a background image on your badge, but you just wanted a little bit of of tone across the image that you've uploaded, you can use this opacity to kind of knock that down, and it would be semi-transparent. So you could still see the background behind it, but it's still in a color overlay. So let's cancel out of that and leave the background color as it is. Background image, this is, you can see this textured image in the background of this header at the moment. If I was to change this to a different badge, so let's go with a header with a white strip. We'll go back to the other, just the plain color in a second. You can see what I've done here. This is a technique that you can use if you wanted a design file which overlapped into the white section. If I submit this, you'll see that actually the logo behind, you can get some nice effects by having a section of white within the file that you upload to kind of overlap if you wanted to. So let's get rid of that and go back to a colored header. So there we go, I've got my logo. Within there also you've got your logo image, so you can swap that over if you want. So I think I've got a different logo that I can upload. Let's pop that in. You've got your width controls, which are all slider based. So if I go back to 80% here for a second, you'll see that I've got my logo. If I jump back into it, scroll down to the bottom, knock my width down to 60%, That's going to knock the size of my image down. The margin at the bottom is the space underneath the logo. So if I thought it was too low, I could knock that up to 5mm, and that's going to push that into the middle of my badge header. As I said, you can upload different logos for different people. So if I just quickly call this exhibitor header, let's pop an I in there, make that my exhibitor badge, and upload a completely different logo. So let's grab a different logo for these guys. Let's put a VIP logo in there, which is slightly darker. Leave it the same. Now you'll see, you can't see those immediately, because what you'll need to do is you've got this view as a person drop down here in the corner. I know Alina is my delegate, so this is her details, the things that are going to be pulling through on her badge. I know she's a delegate. I can also find one of my exhibitors. So if I find Matt, there we go. I haven't got a header background image on there at the moment, but I do have Matt's details and the specific logo. The background item, so let's just delete that for a moment so we can see our badge. Background items are pretty similar, so you can label them whatever you want. So let's just quickly drop a background image in. Again, you can do this specific per group. You've got two options here. You've got the full image and you've got the content image. The full image will go behind any of the assets that you've got on the badge, so it will go behind the delegate strip and the header. So that is just simply the full height and width of the badge. The content image will fill the space between them. So if you've got a sponsor logo, or you want something to just sit in between the headers that you've already done, you can also upload that into there. So let's just grab a full background image to pop in there. Let that upload. There we go. So I can pop that in. You can see that sits behind the badge and the header. So if I actually get rid of my header completely, you'll see that actually my badge image goes right to the top and the bottom. Same with the delegate footer. I can remove that if I want, or I can leave it there and it just sits on top. So let's actually try and design this badge in a little bit more detail. So I'm going to go back into the header and pop a logo image into here. Let's actually put my logo in. I think I'm going to be happy with the size. So there we go. I've got my background image and I've got my header there. Now, my badge items. These are any of the profile fields that you want to pull into the badge specific per user. So it'll be whatever that's in their profile. You've got lots of different options. You've got profile fields, profile pictures, QR codes, attributes, images, and just text. If you wanted a message that said, you know, attending the after party, for example, you could use that. So you can choose your items. You can reposition these items by dragging and drop this drag handle at the corner. As with all of the other elements, you can click into the edit button and you've got lots and lots of different controls for designing them. So if I knock down the size slider, I can submit that and you can see my QR code actually resizes to be whatever size I want. Now I'm not too unhappy with the size of that and the position of that, but I can adjust the padding. That is the space around the QR code. You can adjust the border radius, so that is the corner, each corner, how rounded each corner is. You can also decide to show or hide the border. You won't be able to see it on this design, but there is a key line stroke around that. So if you had a white background badge, it would still stand out. You can upload a logo into the middle of the QR code, and then you've got some alignment. So if you wanted to left align the badge, you've got vertical alignment if you wanted to push it up. And that's what that means is if you've got quite a complex badge design, you can position your QR code exactly how you want it to be, because you've also got these sliders which allow you to push the badge around, push the QR code around the badge to position it exactly how you want it to be. I'm going to go back to center aligned on this badge just for a second, and I've got some offset on that at the moment, haven't I? So I'm going to drop that back down again. So all the controls for the profile fields are very similar. So you've got font controls, because obviously this is text. You've got all of the Google font library in there, which you can search for different fonts. So let's pick Merriweather. You've got casing controls, so let's make that uppercase. You've got sizing controls in millimeters. Font weight, I'm going to make that bold for now. Line height, which is the spacing in between each different bit of text. I know that I need to make this white, so we've got our text color. Wrapping is if you've got a particularly long name, or you fear that you might have a particularly long name for a delegate, you can choose to wrap that text, or you can truncate it if you don't want to break your design. So sometimes in a really long named scenario, if I choose wrap here and I just show you, it could push this these other sections off the badge. So we have control over that as well. Let me just quickly go in and change the text color for these other sections. So my job title and my company name. And you can see that the position of this badge is not quite right. So what I'm going to do is go in to the QR code. I'm going to top align the QR code. Now this will push that up, but it will give me a bit more control over what's going on, because I'll get my top spacing slider. So let's slide that up to about 10 millimeters. So that's in the right position. But also with this full title name, I've also got the top spacing slider, so I can push that down a little bit more to make sure that is aligned. I can do my company, and what I'm going to do here is reduce the line height so that comes up a little bit, and that fits in nicely. The footers, pretty much the same principle throughout here. If you want to add an item, so this could be the VIP badge footer, again you want to select which group that's going to be a part of. Same controls, so you've got you can have a completely separate font if you want, sizes, casing, weight, color, and background. So let's make that a nice vivid pink color. You've also got control over the orientation. So if I just submit that a minute and we jump to, if we find a VIP, so I think Kim is my VIP. So there we go, that's Kim's badge with the VIP. What you can do is you've got some more controls over the orientation. So if you wanted to design your badge with a vertical orientation, you can move that up to the strip, and you've got this space left to play with on the right hand side there. You've also got control over the height of it. So normal would be quite a big header. I think on this one we're going to go very short. So that's different controls. You can just go back and forth and see which one works best for you. So exactly the same controls on the back if you've done the front. So you can completely adjust this. So let's just touch on the attributes, and I think that pretty much covers everything for this video. So you can see this is already pre-populated, lots of videos, day 1 to day 4, lunch, dinner, and transport, etc. You can move any of these around, as with any of the elements with this drag handle. So if I submit that, you'll see these will move around. You can obviously remove them. So I just want to get rid of a few of those. Let's just have the days on the badge. You have control over the shape of them. So you can have circular, rounded, semi-rounded corners, or complete square corners. The size of the icons, the font of the label underneath, the label text color, and the alignment of how you want those labels to be. So you've got, again, complete and utter control over everything from a design point of view here. So there we go, I've got my days. What I want to do is go back in and just talk about the attributes mode. So what you can do here is you've either got a choice between outlining the unapplicable or hiding the unapplicable. So what that means is if you wanted all 4 days to be on every single person's badge, but you wanted to outline the unapplicable, so the days they weren't attending were still there, but they just weren't filled in, you would choose outline unapplicable. So if I go, what I will need to do is go and assign some groups to these guys. So let's go day 1 attendees, submit that. Day 2 attendees, select that. And day 3 attendees, we will select our day 3 attendees group. And let's get rid of day 4. So now I've got my group selected, you can see that Kim is only selected, is only attending day 1. Now if I went back in and changed that to be hide unapplicable, you will see only day 1 will show up. So you get, again, really good controls over what you can do and what you can't do with the attributes for entry into certain areas of your event. Once you're happy with your design, you just pop your save badge on there. It will tell you all of the sort of configured variants that you've completed. So if you've got a little checklist that you want to do, you can jump back in at any point and edit the design. You've got choices to print the design, so you can print all of the badges to a PDF if you're going to print them yourselves, if you're going to pre-print them. Print a group's badges, so you could just print the VIP badges if you wanted, and every delegate could use a kiosk. Print an individual's badge if you want to, or you could print background only. So if you're going to pre-print the background and then print the foreground when you're on site, just the black and white elements, then that's the setting you would use there. So I think that covers everything for now. In the next video, we'll jump into the configuration, so how you can set up your kiosk on site. But for now, good luck with it. Hope it goes well.